Hello, everyone. My name is Sadia. I'm the Public Programs Manager here at Gail Borden Public Library, and I want to thank you all for joining us today. In honor of National Poetry Month, we are so pleased to bring you Poetry Alive, and it is organized by our very own Elgin Poet Laureate, Ms. Gareth Sitz. She is joined with several of our local poets today who will be reciting some of their wonderful poems. So without further ado, I'm going to hand it over to Ms. Gareth.
Well, welcome. We're so delighted that you're here today. I have a great group of poets here, and I love them from the top of my head to the tip of my toes. The first poem we're going to hear is by Elizabeth King. Yeah.
Good afternoon. My name is Elizabeth King, and I've been writing poetry most of my life, although I did begin taking it more seriously in 2002. The Mandolin. With candles lit and fire roaring, here I sit in silence as the music starts. The smooth sound flows over me like warm melted chocolate. I glide away on a raft of relaxation and in a turquoise sea surrounded by palms and sand. I wake in the Italian countryside. The scent of olives and wine fill the air as I find myself reclining in a golden meadow of grapes and grains, and the sound of soft laughter washes over me. Silence. I look at the candles and find myself in a bustling country bistro surrounded by the earthy smell of laborers and baklava and the sound of mandolins. I close my eyes and become the mandolin, vibrating and resonating and releasing the song locked within the wooden frame. The sound of a horn and the beat of a drum carries me off, and I open my eyes to find myself in a bar, smoke rising and circling in the spotlight as musicians fold their sounds gently into the jazz singer's voice, creating a mixture as rich as the brandy in my glass. I watch the smoke rise and circle the room and dance to the beat of the music. Darkness falls, and space and harmony blend with the void of space. Floating through this void, I am at peace. I am in harmony. I am music. I am the mandolin. Then silence. The fire is out, the candle is spent, and I am home again.
Thank you so much, Elizabeth. Elizabeth is new to our group, and we're very glad she's with us. I'm going to read a poem by Marsha Gutierrez. She is in California. Her mom passed away. It's called I Saw a Baby Pigeon Today. Small and thin, it almost looks like the adult. The feathers are full and fresh, but for the head and neck, they haven't grown out all the way yet. It walks freely where humans once did, zigzagging down the walkway all alone, until Mama Pigeon finds it. Baby cries, opens its mouth, and is fed. The next poem will be by Ken Jackson.
Hello, I'm not from Elgin, but I found out about this poetry group through a friend, and I've been trying to come ever since when I could. I have 2 children, and I live in Elmhurst, and I'm happy to have you guys here today. Miraculous someone. I met a little baby that knew more than I knew about the living essence the brew she just ensued, the teeming, moving aspect of a million morning suns, a newly living, breathing, miraculous someone.
Now we will hear from Catherine Long, another new member of our group.
Thank you. I started writing poetry in college with Professor James Hurst. Put that away, and when COVID started, I got the portfolio back out, and I've been writing ever since. And then I found this nice group to belong to. So this is entitled As For Me. I shall cherish small moments, practice wonder and fun, return to the sunsets and finish the song. Keep writing real letters, read only good books, make calendar appointments, leaving blanks. Stop for tea time and naps, call the children and friends, having long talks and leisurely walks. Say I love you more often, say no and stick to it. Erase fears and shed tears without shame. Live my life in obedience, meditate on the word. Pray that my witness speaks truth. Look over your shoulder. We've made history, my friends, grieving thousands while we live to tell the story of the year time stood still. We endured, persevered. We lived simply, kept hope. Remember, look toward a new time. Oh, people, choose well.
Now we're going to hear from Les Caress, and you will find he knows the rhythm of poetry pretty well. He's been with us a long time. Welcome, Les.
Okay, I've been writing poetry since grade school, and I guess it's part of me now, and I write short stories, play the ukulele, etc., whatever. Okay, so this is called Your Prism, a Music in Red. Your prism, a music in red, tuned like harpsichords of nerves with fingers, bleeding notes from the body harp, you thought, only played your song, plays in your head, plays in your head. Reappearing thought interludes of willful wrongs, plays in your bed. His song leads you to stereotype. Harps now sound alike, and your seashell ears, harpooned by every note, broke into a blue, hypnotizing tune. B-flat slaps, thunder claps, tears rain, lips snap on a sad beat that plays in your head, as the speeding crescendo cascades into summery sweethearts with random rhythms to accent a pain. Tempo's a heart, and so you reply, I don't need a wave, just myself splashing inside the bell jar. Whoosh, the bell jar breaks. You, my all-to-be wannabe lover, blurry-eyed with wine, invite apocalyptic souls and others in bathrobes to tsunami surf on your bed. Whoosh, the bell jar breaks. A hurricane hurls your boots up, down, and into my song. Felt hammers struck by piano keys, slap banged a hole in my head, plays in your head. His betrayal plays in your head, plays in your head, plays in your plays. Okay.
Thank you, Les. You never disappoint.
Can I get my water back?
Sure.
Thanks.
Okay, let's see. Now we're going to hear from Ivory Hare. Ivory's been attending the poetry group for quite a while, and I love the sound of her voice.
Hello, everyone. First, I would like to say thank all of you guys for coming. It's nice to have a small audience, so thank you. I lived in Elgin for over 20 years. I am a content introvert, and I like to write, so I'm going to share 3 of my writings with you guys. Also need to say a lot of my work is kind of dark, and I use profanity, but I fixed it, so no one will be offended, okay? So here we go. First one, protect your energy. Everyone is not for me. I keep people at bay. I don't have time for bull it and drama. I see no other way. Everyone is not your friend. People are good at playing pretend. People lie, sabotage, and gossip. I've been down that road before, so I know what's up. I have no time for betrayal, hurt feelings. I'm solo. I'm good. I'm chilling. Not everyone is for me, so I'm always protecting my energy.
Thank you, Ivory. I think we all need to protect our energy. Now we're going to hear from Joy Bang, an actress in a former life.
I echo Ivory in saying it's really terrific to see you. Being an old actress, I want an audience. I'm a transplant from Minneapolis. I came to Illinois to follow my grandchildren, and I grew up in New York with Gareth, and we were in the same English class. And she always has told me that I could write, so she twisted my arm, so here I am. Oh, I should also say some of my poems are a little sad because I just lost my sweetheart of 27 years. In fact, the first poem is called Frank at Joy's, December 2020. He's lost his mind. It's the last hurrah. There's not much to do to call it back. I wait for the moment a wind blows away the cobwebs, the ganglia and mitochondria webs that have torn or are in tatters. His love matters. He totters. There's no more walking. Striding has been long gone. The crossword puzzles are squares to him. What are these numbers for? His mind is gone, lost down a path only he can go. Help me, he says in his sleep. In a dream, he says, Hail Mary, full of grace. This is a safe place, this place I have him in, my house. I try not to lose my own mind in sadness to fears of what might be ahead for all of us. I do not want him to suffer. I answer non sequiturs, questions out of sync. He understands food, and we communicate that way. A minor victory today. He took his pills. He let me put the drops in his eyes. If glaucoma took hold, he'd be blind to me, his most devoted lifeline.
That was beautiful, Joy. Always makes me cry. The next two poems that we're going to share today are connected to a project in Elgin called The Long Red Line. The first one is going to be read by Ramona, lovingly known as Moni Burns, and it's by Blaze Pyrek, another one of our people who cannot make it today. Take it away, Moni.
Good afternoon. Welcome. I guess I must give a disclaimer. This is quite graphic. This is, as Blaze mentioned, is a poem of Blaze's, a beloved poetry communicator. Okay, we're good. But it is quite graphic, so please be prepared. The Legend of Goose Lake, first day. Hippies, freaks, bikers, weed, hash, LSD, farm fields, a rock festival, love lived in harmony, dogs, children, smiles, hair, everywhere. I was a young girl riding in a tin pony rodeo when the animals took over the barn. Two-wheeled beasts, atavistic, primal, powerful, degenerate. I was kin to these beasts only through Milwaukee wheels. I wore no colors. I was prey. They already had sniffed my way. Second day, the water trucks parked away from the laughing, away from the smiling, by the barn, by the beasts. I saw their style change from random to select, a woman to share, to rip, to bite, to rape, to tear. I hid my shining hair, bound my breasts under leather, stayed hidden under cover, watching the beast stalk her. She was Death's woman now. Her moral fibers didn't resonate, couldn't smell their complete evil. She reasoned, even laughed. The first slap knocked her down, yanked to standing by her hair. A backhand stunned her. Be peace, I love you, she said that. They dragged her away, threw her on the hay, torn dress under. I heard her say, I will remember each face, will pay. They smirked. They slapped, they ripped her clothes, knocked teeth from her unwilling mouth, lined up and used her. There's been no payday. They did not pay. Not then, not soon, not ever after, not ever, never. She paid in blood for me. Blood ran down her thighs. Blood flowed from her tenderness. Bloody broken mouth. Bloody smashed nose. Bloody slashed throat dripping. Blood and piss, wasted sperm. Day 3. Day and night the stoned prey came. Innocent, stoned, thirsty. Came to water and the beasts. Beat a few, raped a few, robbed a few. Desecrated, damned, drugged derelicts. My body laid hidden under a blanket, but floating on a breeze, and a silver strand free from the bestial terror astral. Buffy St. Marie sang the stars home as the beast burned the barn. Death's woman eyes were open, reflecting the fire. Day 4, the prey surged away from the music into hell, armed with more than love, armed with more than peace, rocks, wood, tire irons, hatchets. The beasts beat retreat. I breathed, and then the prey stoned me. With real rocks, hard, I ran to our truck, 2 Harleys and me in the pickup. The truck tires spun, marred in dust. It rolled and gunned and shuddered, armed with a wrench and heart, and I struck blindly. No trial, no time. No one heard me say, be peace, I love you. Spilling gas and dropping matches, I set the road on fire. A tin pony rodeo rider in hell beat retreat. What lesson this, so long ago? I keep the memory, the faces of each. A woman died for me to live.
A note on that poem. Blaze came to the very first poetry group I had here at the library, and she was a motorcycle rider and had a trike in her older age. And she had a big folder full of poems. And her hair was loose, and she read that poem and knocked the whole group off our feet. I am going to read another poem on the same subject, not quite so dark. It's by my sweet rabbi, Margaret Frisch Klein, who can't be with us today. Hidden. I had been hidden for many years. No one knew my story. Now I am unmasked, revealed to be what I am, a survivor, a rape survivor. Painful to acknowledge, to write, to hear, to say. Who knows? Perhaps like Esther, I am in this place for this very reason, to reveal myself, to give others courage, to save myself and others. I'm scared. God, don't hide from me. If I reveal myself, will you reveal yourself? Where were you? Where are you? I thought I knew. The next poem is by Gabby Vargas, a lovely young woman I got introduced to by Tish Powell for our Women's History Month presentation, and I asked her to come and reprise her poem for us today.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for being here tonight, and I appreciate the invitation again. My name is Gabby Vargas. I am an immigrant from Mexico, and I am a mother of 2 boys, and I am also the owner of Poema Studio in downtown Elgin for community mental wellness. The work that we do there, our mission is to create more mental health awareness for suicide prevention. We have a suicide loss grief support group. We do painting, a podcast, and a drumming circle. So I hope you guys can check us out. We're pretty new down by the downtown area. And on that note, my poem is called I Am Poema. Suicide prevention is important to me because I know what it's like to be seconds away from taking my life, and also know what it's like to lose a loved one to suicide, who we miss and love every day. And in this month, when the suicide is the highest, I want to dedicate this poem to every loved one we've lost to suicide. I am Poema. Your eyes are the window to your soul, they said. So it was there that I searched for answers. If my eyes could connect with my soul, maybe they could finally tell me why. It was a silent black, surrounded by a vibrant green that spoke nothing back, as I searched in the never-ending darkness of the pupils in my eyes, leaving me nowhere other than the same place I wanted to leave so badly. I would stare at myself in the mirror for hours without end. Why are you here? My biggest battle was one that was silent, silently taking me away from my dreams, the thought of living this life daunting. I was there once and many times, broken, abused, torn apart, told why I was not good enough, abandoned, submerged in shame, feeling hopeless. And then, metamorphosis. Pain redefined, cracks bonded with gold like kintsugi art, learning to embrace the brokenness, accepting my flaws, loving every imperfection that came along with them. It is then when full potential is realized. And here I am, learning to fly without wings in the places I was scared to exist, like a fragile butterfly ready to soar in the limitless sky because I was made for this. Making every piece of who I am count unapologetically, for each piece is part of the unique design that makes me priceless. A canvas painted with grace, patience, and love, the epic poem of my life, a piece of art, one of a kind, choosing to gaze upon its beauty despite how long it could take to complete. Yes, a work of progress, no doubt, yet a beautiful masterpiece at the same time. Fearless, purposefully, and wonderfully made. I am Poema, you are Poema. Thank you so much.
The next poem we're going to hear was written by Irfan Sharif, another one of our poets. He's in Canada, taking care of a sick son, and Joy is going to read it for us.
An honor to read Irfan's poetry. He's so happy. Carefree by Irfan Sharif. Today I will be carefree. We'll go to the park, nurture with Mother Nature, hug a tree. The shade of the tree will comfort me. I will laugh, sing, and dance as if nobody's watching me. I will meditate. I will be childlike and express my gratitude toward Mother Nature. That is what I'm going to do today to set my soul free.
This is another poem by Rabbi Margaret Frisch Klein. It is called Grocery Shopping on Earth Day in a Pandemic. Raspberries. I just wanted raspberries. I didn't need them, but for days I craved them, thought they would bring me comfort. As a raspberry lime Ricky and milk, we were out of milk, so I went early before they run out. Just the essentials, mask on, and avocado, pricey, but I missed them. Tulips, I can survive surrounded by beauty. Tomatoes, wait, what about the Imoki tomato workers? I've supported them for years. Where do these come from? Who picked there? Why all that packaging? No, no tomatoes for me today. What about asparagus? No, not quite the right reason yet. Still, from Chile or Mexico? No, no asparagus for me today. Ooh, what about ground beef? No, it takes 14 pounds of grain for every pound of beef. But they have it. Limit 2 packs. No, no ground beef for me today. What about Keurig coffee cups? Fair trade, Guatemalan coffee? Are you kidding me? Think of a waste. This is Earth Day, for God's sake. No, no coffee for me today. Raspberries. What about raspberries? That's what I came for. They are out, fresh and frozen. Who bought all the raspberries? What is happening to our supply chain? No, no raspberries for me today. They had toilet paper, though. Did you buy anything? Milk and bananas and potato chips, a big bag. Because it has a smaller carbon footprint. Those are for stress eating. After a trip to the grocery store for raspberries. And now we will hear another poem from Catherine Long.
I'll go on.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay.
Yeah, I skipped.
Yeah, okay, we'll go.
Sorry about that.
All right,
I skipped. We'll go back.
okay. This is called Ukrainian Mother. What do you pack when time has run out to be safe in your home, in your country? What do you pack when you don't know where you're going, don't know if you'll ever be back? Grab your passport, your ID, your phone and the cords, strong shoes, extra socks, warmest mittens, the picture of Grandma, of Daddy at Christmas, her blankie, and his Mr. Bear, frantic steps, throbbing heart, close the door, take the key. This train doesn't promise return. I'm sorry, I just watched the train station blow up. So, forgive me.
My apologies. I somehow skipped a couple of people by accident. We want to hear from Ed Herdrich, who is still a finalist for Elgin Poet Laureate, and we're delighted that he's here. Come on, Ed.
Thank you, Gareth. Thank you all for coming out. I grew up in Des Plaines, wrote my first poem when I was in 5th grade. I'm not going to subject you to that today. I've been writing poetry since. I've been in Elgin. I have to gauge it by my children. I have 6 of them, 30 years now. And I've been writing since. I write a lot of different things, novels, short stories. Today I'm going to read The Willows. Before, whispering willows, speaking soft, gentle breezes, joyfully announcing the sound of cold, clean, succulent life, moving in trickling, steady spills over time-washed stone and filtering sand. A scent of green, mossy spring, sprinkled with sage, lavender, and lilac, surrounded by the songs of sparrows, finches, and more, blending with the cries of the hawk, as the soft-soled feet of honest, aware, and respectful ones move through without disturbing, making themselves a part of the harmony, not apart from it. After, weeping willows, softly crying quiet sorrows, sadly telling the tale of gray, murky, lifeless waters, moving quickly over plastic remnants and thick, frothy spills of unnatural origin, a scent of acrid, burning metal and brick, mixed with clanging, cutting, breaking sounds. Winches and more, blending with the shouts of foremen as thick, metal-toed boots of conquering, careless ones move over without thought beyond self, creating their world from the belief they are apart from it. Thank you.
Yes, Ed is quite an appreciator of nature. Thank you so much. I'm so delighted that you're here. The next poem is going to be by Ken Jackson again.
Grief. Perhaps you heard a bell tolling. Through the clouds descending, it flattens the earth. And the dark sky opens, and rain falls like loss, soaking everything down the street drains, beating on the tree leaves, and then it clears, and the sun will come out again. But grief is part of the land, and it will come out again. Sometimes hard, more times soft, but stay with you with memories and heart, and always more than a tear in your eye.
Yeah, Ken has a real good ability to say a lot in a few words. He also has an ability to write like 5 poems from one writing prompt. I don't know how he does it. Okay, now we're going to hear another poem by Joy.
Wish it were a happy one, but serve the theme. Though I'm distraught, I know that I ought to pray to the gods and bet against odds that a mental decline would never malign the love that I had for him. Have, mad, shared sorrow, sorrow shared with his kin. I can only begin to recount the amount of pain and restraint. It's the course through this loss and the course of the days yet to come.
Thank you, Joy. Now we are going to hear from Ivory Hare.
Okay. This one's for anyone who ever felt discouraged. It's called Try. I can cry, but I'll continue to try. I will be afraid, but will carry on and be brave. I will always be mad, but I smile for the world to see. No one needs to know the bad day I had. I'm very isolated from life in the world. Doesn't matter. I'm so used to the hurt. In time, I hope these feelings pass. I hope my pain end. But I continue regardless. I try. Shed tears and cry. But I always strive and continue to try. Thank you.
Yeah, there have been some tough moments in the past few years when you've been trying pretty hard, and poetry seems to have been helping. Yeah. So thanks so much for sharing that. It takes courage sometimes, you know, to share what's in your heart. The next poem we're going to hear, because I got my order a little kooky, but a poem is a poem. We're going to hear another poem from Joy.
Still Frank. That's okay. But this is pretty present time, and it's true. There are fish on my window ledge. There is a loon on the porch. Wooden reminders of his tastes, very Minnesotan. Wooden reminders of just how good his taste was. The plaid shirt I wear was his. The socks on my feet, his. All that's mine are images and scents, hollow places that echo of him. If this be morning, I long for the new morning. Sadness is heavy and paralyzing. My lover would not want this for me.
Thank you, Joy. One theme you find here is that poetry sometimes helps us know ourselves a little better and express our emotions. Now Ed is going to come back.
The poem, Lone Wolf Howl. Lone Wolf Howl, the image manufactured, strong, resilient, defiant, the ranger walking, rawhide bootstrap of rugged individualism, set apart from the rest, making life the best. Lone Wolf Howl, the nature observed, calling, seeking, searching, awaiting a reply, to gather once more, to Shunkawakan, family medicine, plain to see, a call for community.
A note, Ed sent me this beautiful video that he made here with people from the library of that poem. Is that available to see?
I'm sorry?
Is that video available to see, Ed?
I put it out on Facebook, but
Okay, all right. It's beautiful. Maybe we can put it on the Poet Laureate website. Would you like that? I'd like that. Okay, thank you so much. I think it is time for Less Caress again.
Okay, this one's titled Left, Right, Left, Right. My left wants what it can't have. My right hates my left. Yet, it's my other half, an incautious heft. Want, that's my addiction. Want, tells lies, pleases just to tease decisions. Want, the tyrant expertise of my left flees to the middle. My left, a deft survivor, after my right, as being trite, quite persistent in what it wants, bereft of right. My left is right about being left, yet I bet I'll survive. My left, right, left, a vile thing that thrives, endures and binds all into a sheer miss. My left wants what it can't have. My right hates my left.
We can always count on Les to do something that's amusing. Now we're going to hear another poem from Ivory.
Right. In life, sometimes you have to be your own cheerleader. So this is kind of how this one came to be, and it's called Magnificent. Please know that you are magnificent. The times when you're down and out, believe you are magnificent without a doubt. The life you lived of doom and gloom, be proud that you didn't let it get the best of you. The loved ones who did you wrong, it hurts to be betrayed by the ones you thought would never do you that way. But you made it through the hurt and the pain. Remember, dears, you are magnificent. And screw those who told you you weren't it. And know that you're doing fine. and know that those a-holes wasn't worth your time. Let go of the rejection and the times you felt abandoned. And know you are magnificent. Let go of the times the world and the people in it made you feel so small. Screw them all. Hold your head high and continue to walk tall. Know, my dears, you are excellent. And those people in the world at times really ain't, it. But do know, my loves, that you are magnificent.
Well, I like it with all the bad stuff in it, but it's a library, Let's see. Now, I'm very, very pleased to welcome Dante Ryan. Aaron is another finalist for the Elgin Poet Laureate, and he's young, so one of these years, he'll probably be doing this job too.
Hello, friends. My name's Aaron, or Mr. Aaron, as the kids call me at work. Y'all might recognize me from the first floor of the library. I work down in the kids' space department, so it's fun being up on the second floor today with some more adult kind of themed poems. The first one that I'm going to read does have a pinch of profanity in it, so heads up on that. A lot of my work deals with themes of mental health and LGBTQ identity. Poetry is a space where I can be most myself, authentic, and vulnerable. So I'm excited to share that part of myself with y'all today. The runner. He runs into the thunder, into the storm, drowning out his own hunger. He fills the emptiness with this and that, but there's a hole in the hourglass. And over time, those tiny grains of sand spill out of his hands. No matter how damn hard he tries holding on, he can't stop time, so he just runs. He runs beneath the bent backs of street lamps. He runs past the warm gold windows of homes he can't call home any more than his own. He runs away from home, but he don't know where to go. He just knows Mama used to hold him close, used to sing lullabies through every storm. And now, the only words out of her lips are prayers for God to save her son from the sin he bears. To hell with it. He don't care how the rain weighs down his clothes. He don't care how the puddles soak into his soles. He don't care how hard that thing pounds inside his chest. He don't care how cold it gets. He just runs. 'Cause the only place he's got left to run is into the arms of the boy he loves. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Aaron. I am so excited because he was with me a long time ago. How many years the first time you came to poetry? Quite a few. And because of work, he hasn't been able to come all the time, but every time he does, he kind of reads a great poem and we all just go, ah. Now we're going to hear from Catherine Long.
Fertile soil. Don't waste the crisis as days drag on, masks and 6 feet limits. Vaccines and boosters aplenty, but caution is center stage. Do we move ahead, pick up our baskets and go on? Don't look back. What used to be isn't there anymore. Old ways no longer suffice. Look all around, take time to wonder. Create, take nothing for granted. There is fertile soil, so plant again. Sow seeds of kindness, bulbs of joy. Turn the soil over, revealing awe and wonder. Water with love and fertilize with ideas. Sunshine will warm the earth. Be alert to a change of heart, a renewed soul, a harvest of hope. Expect it. Thank you.
Now we're going to hear another poem by Joy.
This one is called On the Path to Love. On the path to love, I traveled first with the boy with freckles. He lifted weights. He lifted me up and out and away from the path of school and words and thought and onto the path of touch and feel and the forbidden. There was no going back, only forward. Then my path to love branched off, leading me to the young man with blues and strength and kindness and wanderlust. He led me to foreign lands and unknown people. The path grew to include a vast network of faces and flesh. The young man gave way to the older man, and I traveled a ways with him. But those were not my ways. I was yet to know my own direction. So, on the path to love, I went up mountains, swam through tropic oceans, made love amongst the trees, on farms and in cities, in homes, hotels, hostels, and still love was hidden from me. But I love my path.
That's one of my favorites, Joy. I really like that. Okay, somewhere along the line, I seem to have skipped a poem that I'm supposed to read. That's Marsha Gutierrez's poem. And it's called This Moment in the Past. As it happens, it is pushed back to become a chain of moments that are behind. Forward, life goes on an adventure of both discovery and faded familiar moments, moments played over and over and over again, bringing both comfort and boredom to a life that passes by too quickly. The accumulation of each moment gathers in the memory, some cherished, others forgotten, and still more with a wish to forget. Together they are the life of one. This moment is now in the past, to move forward into the future, creating a life of Okay, let's see. And now we're going to hear from, did you read Fertile Soil? What? That's you're going to go before Preston. We had, okay, thank you, Elizabeth. Okay, come on, and then we'll hear from Preston. Thank you. Thank you.
This is called One Poet Stands. It is an ode to Chicagoland poet David Hernandez. His eyes are closed, but he sees with words. He bobs and sways to the music that pours from his lips, taps from his feet, snaps from his fingers. He sings about rooftop pipers, sun, times, and the day Chicago blew up. Your satin smooth inspires us. Your worn jeans, old hiking boots, and tired scarf belie your true worth. But in this classroom, up front, one poet stands.
Okay, take it away, Preston.
Hello?
I might add that Preston is our newest poet. He just came last week and said, I'd like to read a poem. I said, okay.
So here I go. My name Preston. I'm from Elgin. I work on a farm of plenty horses. I'm new to this. This is my first time doing this. So here we go. The name of this is Life Can Be Advanced If Given a Proper Chance. A child was born in turmoil. He will go ahead to live life that most would say born to lose. Describing born to lose is not being taught to win or having human that rightfully stands to protect you. Imagine living in a big city, but alone against many. How do a person survive when going to bed hungry every night? How do a human make plans and goals for the future when life seems to be lonely and lucky only? Kids are supposed to be kids with dreams and having a variety of occupations to be who they want to be when they grow up someday. Not knowing your purpose because of being confused or not knowing your purpose because of being confused on maybe someone cares about you, or do they only care for what the government freely does for you? Because at the end of the day, an extra kid brings you extra pay. And what about the teachings, the proper rights and wrongs that people need to know while growing at home? Or is he born without a voice of an opinion? How does one do it to a son? Set up for failure with zero plans for him to mature. How does a boy think correctly and make plans to succeed, or thinks like a normal human being and have a normal personality? Now, speaking of Ukraine, God bless the people and country lands of Ukraine. Them people are being bullied and treated unfairly, daily. I remember wanting to go to war just to be away from family. Honestly, there is nothing that angers me than to see people being mistreated. I would love to see at least 1 week of peace, knowing that that can be obsolete. I hope all that believes pray for Ukrainians and keep in mind that there are people fighting for their lives while living in the unsafely streets every day at all times of the night. That's it.
You know, I said to Preston, well, if you don't want to read, you don't have to. He says, I want to. So I'm very glad that you're doing it. You have to get your feet wet sometime, you know, so it's great. Let's see, here we go. We're going to hear from Ed.
The poem, To Play in the Rain. Staring out the window alone, the bills overdue, the house not shown. Another broken window, another misplaced key. The law that all is wrong in his life too long. As far as he can see, loss of dignity. This day seems eternity. The steady tapping of rain on the roof, stirring memories and more, of words heard and repeated, life's challenges greeted. Plans canceled or altered, giving cause to complain? Did you take any time to play in the rain? Through the sweat and the tears and sometimes pain, did you make any time to play in the rain? While the children were growing and going through change, did you teach them how to play in the rain? Catching drops on your tongue, splashing puddles for fun, did you show them how to play in the rain? He gets up and walks out the door. He walks to the street, stepping onto the black, takes the shirt off his back, turns his face up, arms outstretched, feels the drop land, face, arms, hand. His neck and his chest, beads become lines of water, covering, coursing, cleansing, rinsing away the gray. Deep inside, he remembers. From storms, he rarely would hide, but rather outside to play in the rain.
Now we're going to hear another poem from Ken Jackson.
All God asks of us. observing the Muslims knee-deep in obsequiousness, bowing prostrate before something greater than themselves, far greater. Yahweh, Allah. Who else will Lord man bow before today? What is greater than thou? Thyself? If we bow to no one, then on a pedestal we've become, to be honored, whether deserved or not, the meaningless lovely lady. The Muslim, prone, then rising, then repeating, head bowed, such faith. How many times a day required? Me and my Americanism don't know. Those of faith all seem to bow, but what else do they bow to? That bank on Shining Hill, the influence peddlers, the power brokers. When I see Muslims, those bows seem so I am lower, beneath, and so need this thing so much larger than myself in admission. No questioning, no academic analysis, prone in this lifetime to be in the next, to not be in the next. It must be better than this ragged slum, 10 against my shoulder, tired daughter on the other. I still hold her like you hold your daughter, but not in confidence, like I can give her this best world. No, this daughter, we escaped bombs. Happy finally in refugee camps. What is the connection, the haves, the have-nots, shouldering the same intractable human condition? Just getting through our day, though so much harder for some than others, because that's all we have. But what of having and giving back? The poor will be with us always, but finish the sentence. The fewer the better for all of us. And we ourselves will make that difference by trying and trying again to make it better. And that is all God asks of us.
Now, excuse me. I don't want to. I get involved listening to the poem. Now we're going to welcome Aaron back.
All right, friends. Nice to be back again. This next poem is called The Arsonist. She sets fire to another cigarette. She sets fire to all the letters never sent. She holds a match to memories she never meant to tattoo on her skin. The devil on her shoulder, the devil in her head, won't stop whispering sweet nothings. Singing the earth looks like a bed we can sleep in. Singing the world will be better without us in it. Singing lies, lies, lies. Singing such sweet lullabies. Wishing life tastes sweeter than death. Till then, she sets fire to another cigarette, breathing in the bitter smoke, wishing her memories would vanish into thin air, like the trail of a plane that's going somewhere, wishing she had somewhere to be and something to yearn, other than all the bridges she's burned. Thank you.
Thank you, Aaron. Now, Joy is going to read another one of Irfan's poems.
Bamboo Trees by Irfan Sharif. Standing tall, the bamboo trees in the misty forest, serene wind blowing through them, surround sound and tranquil lyrics, a seasonal harmony for the agitated minds.
Irfan is another one of our nature poets, and he's really a sweet person. He says, I like poems to be inspiring. And he's been with the group for a very long time, and I'm so sorry that he has to be in Canada right now. All right. Now I'm supposed to read another poem of Marsha's. This is 3 haiku and 1 that is not. Quarantine today, I opened the window wide, let the bird song in. 4 magpies flew by, the most I have ever seen. They are free. I'm not. Lockdown, one more month, maybe, or more if needed. Birds sing free outside. Marsha was in France throughout the pandemic, just came back very recently, and I started a morning poetry group on Zoom because she couldn't come at 7 o'clock at night on Zoom because it was 3 in the morning. So we met every week instead of once a month from my Zoom, and it's great to have her back. Now the next one would be Ken.
COVID-19. Clouds darken the day, glow now circling round the ragged edges, sun going down. COVID has me trapped. But does it? Seems quieter. Did you catch that, the quiet? The clock is ticking, as always, but I can hear it. That usually only happens at night when I'm trying to sleep. At first, dim ticking, but as you close your eyes, striving for sleep, it becomes much louder until it keeps you up. Sort of like this virus. At first so quiet, almost silent, but then it gets louder and louder until it's all you hear.
Thank you very much, Ken. Now, Elgin poem, Joy Banks.
This poem was written because for the Valentine to Elgin, that was a program through the library. I was only one of 8 million in the naked city. I was a fish gone belly up in Hollywood. I was a little fish in a big pond in Minneapolis. But here in Elgin, I am a big fish in a little pond. But wait, Elgin is no pond. She is a living, rolling waterfall of creative arts, of schools and colleges, of lakes and of forest preserves, home to a world-renowned library, a symphony as in no other, home to a rich history of slaves and freemen riding boxcars to its banks, of migrants and immigrants arriving with new hopes, a sanctuary city. And lo, she has become my sanctuary, my safe place. And I place myself here, a big fish, swimming the currents as I let my friends and the fox carry me along.
Thank you. You know, I had to convince this lovely person that she is a big fish and can share her talent with us. Oh. Now we're going to hear from Ed.
And I have to risk the wrath of Gareth because unfortunately I have to be leaving for work, so I'm jumping the order and reading the last poem that I was supposed to read. Again, I want to thank everyone for coming out. The adjective. I should say, before I read this, I'm sorry. The one thing about being a poet is that poetry allows you to present a perspective on things. So sometimes a poet or a songwriter will speak from a voice that is not necessarily their own. You try and listen to people and really observe, but listen mostly so that you can speak from that place even if it is not your own place. The adjective. Out east, the stories start on the hill. We got the green for same story still. Start from a school short on supplies. Ease of access, another plain lie. Need a roof over your head. Family needs to be fed. So you do what you have to. It all comes to bread. Train hard from the time you can walk. Learn to run, hit, maybe even trash talk. You can do it, just do it, so we all told. When the truth is not a matter if you bold, 1 in a million, if you're lucky. Franchise operation got the odds, truth to be told. Flipping burgers or breaking my back for some green, when instead, twice the cash, ride the line in between. My cousin Darnell signed up with Uncle Sam, came back in a chair. Don't seem anyone give a damn. I got choices, they tell me. Opportunity abounds. Slamming doors and no thank you, most familiar sound. Seem like folks just don't see out on the streets misery. High ideals and empty words, truth it is, they just ain't heard. Ain't no school or courtroom found. Equality rules the room, not the green that abounds. So maybe if I elevate my vocabulary and strive to increase my salary, and maybe send a representative to discuss the ramifications, instead of my boy to give you a holler, you might be able to understand that in this justice system, for my brothers and sisters and I, criminal is just an adjective.
Ed works for the library, and they need him. Okay, I guess we're going to have Les join us again.
Okay, I won't say the title. It doesn't matter. I was born to write bad poetry, often is. I went to groups that write and write, but when I wrote, nothing really came, just meaningless stuff. What is meaningless? Everything means something because something always means something. The word something is more than just the word. Words are something special just because it is just because. Do I have to have a special reason? I don't think so. Wrote about youth, love, and unhappiness. Read other poets and wondered how. How do they do it? Maybe if I knew, I'd stop pulling my hair out. Oops, went bald. Found the reason for that. Bad poetry. I was born to write bad poetry.
Okay, there we go. I'm going to read a poem by Marsha Gutierrez. It's called The Sound of an Acorn. How do you spell the sound of an acorn? Hitting the roof above? No. How do you phonetically spell the sound of an acorn as it hits, rolls, crashes, slams upon the asphalt rooftop above? All night long. Sound crunches through my ears to my brain as 3 acorns hit, one right after the other. A staccato chorus follows before a flight of 3 hit the air, skip a beat or 2, and dried leaves end the unceremonious song. The next follows with a simple, rapid click, 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 clickety click as it rolls to the edge and vanishes. Not to be outdone, another soon follows, bounces twice into oblivion. Let's see. Okay, Catherine.
These hands, old, gnarled, crooked, and sore, so many tasks they can't do anymore. They used to dig worms and gather small stones, snatch lightning bugs from the thin air, dress tiny paper dolls, learn to color and write, played jacks and batted the ball. They learned to thread needles, sew dresses from scratch, for proms and weddings, baby dresses to match. They hand-stitched quilts, did cross-stitch and wove, knitted sweaters and mittens, made wreaths for the door. They planted flowers in gardens, snapped beans for the freezer, tomatoes for sauce, dug potatoes, picked squash. They type term papers, theses, stories by the score, play the piano with vigor, but such things no more. Everything's harder, to open, to zip, to button, to chop, to pour, to lift, to scribe a pen in presentable style. Haven't reached an octave for a while. These hands, gnarled and crooked, may be worn to the bone, but there are things they still can do. They can wave to a friend, embrace with a hug, hold a book and turn the page. They can dial up a call, send an email with care, drink tea with both hands, arrange flowers. They can hold a hand gently, brush a cheek, tickle feet, count blessings from 1 to 10, make high fives, thumbs up, press your palms in prayer, and carefully clap for the encore.
Catherine's really good at touching the heart, isn't she? Yeah. Now we're going to hear again from our finalist for Poet Laureate, Aaron. Come on down.
All right, friends. So, like my fellow finalist said, I will also be heading back to work after the program. Again, I do work in the Kids Space Department, and we do have some poetry activities on that big blue cart over there for students in K to 8th grade. But any age is welcome to tackle those poetry activities, so see me after the program if you want more information. Till then, I will read my final poem I'll be sharing, which is The Cellist. For you, I play violin. It squeals like a weasel caught in a vacuum, or a clown inhaling his own balloons. I paint my smiles. I put on a show. You throw tomatoes at my head, laughing at how badly I sing, in a voice that was never my choice. I was assigned this instrument at birth. No, before then, before I'd formed fingers with which to grasp my own bow. Alone, I play the cello. I vibrato on the lower notes, letting their melodies linger. I conduct my own concerts. I pluck my own heartstrings. I am foghorn, piercing this cold gray mist. I am wolf in sheep's clothing, a boy wrapped in a pink blanket. I don't know why I howl, why my cello crescendos for an audience of one. Although I try to move on, I hear their song when there's no music. Although you've claimed I could never be a cellist, I can't change the rhythm of my bleating wolf heart. Press your stethoscope to my chest and listen to the man I've always been. Thank you.
That's a poem you read when you first came to Poetry Grove. Yeah, it was pretty special. Let's see. Now, Joy.
You are the poem I've never told, the story I refuse to rhyme. It's a narrative of horror. It's an historical novel of fear and dread that was not made into a movie. Move over, memories. I've the strength to turn you to poem, story, narrative, novel, or movie. Every cloud has its silver lining that I can paint. Just wait.
I now have the privilege of reading another poem by Rabbi Margaret Frisch Klein. This one is called Bluing Up in Memory of My Father. Did you notice the bright blue skies? The sky seems bluer, more intense, less full of smog. We have gotten so used to smog, we don't even notice it there now. I remember this blue. It was in the days after 9/11, no airplanes in the sky, just an intensely blue sky. I remember this blue when we first moved from Chicagoland to Michigan. My father would comment, "Do you see?" he said. "Do you see? You can see my shadow. There's no smog." We would be out in a primeval forest identifying wildflowers, or in the backyard planting cucumbers for his beloved pickles, or at the Fulton Street Market buying dill. My father was a biologist, a geneticist, an atheist, one of the first ecologists and organizer with others of the first Earth Day 50 years ago. It was like a picnic, that fourth grade girl thought. We stood, we danced, we lay in the grass, we collected litter, and he argued on behalf of the earth with everyone. My fourth grade teacher and the Weekly Reader, once a fourth grade article about the ozone. The grocery store over aerosol deodorant, DuPont over Agent Orange. Proudly he called our house Dandelion Acres. How embarrassed I was. Yet he was right. He sounded a clarion call, a shofar, if you will. He would be embarrassed by the shofar, unable to reconcile what he could see in his microscope with the story of creation, unable to reconcile the Holocaust with his understanding of God. I never won that argument, yet he was right. We need to protect the earth. We need to protect the environment. Can I find the compassion to forgive my embarrassment, to forgive my father? I must. This is his legacy. He cared about the earth passionately. Like honey, as my father planted for me, so I must plant for my children and grandchildren. May this time of quarantine, one he worried may one day come, be a time of healing the scars, our relationships, the earth, our world. Did you notice? The sky seems bluer. It is bluing up. I can see my shadow, even in Chicagoland. And Joy will read another poem by our beloved Irfan, who we miss very much.
Yeah, this is really good. This is the true Irfan. A Magical New Day by Irfan Sharif. Today is a lovely day, a day abundant with joy and fullness. I can feel the crisp and breezy air. There is sunlight. Flowers are blooming. The plants and their leaves look fresh and green. Everything is so special and new this day. Oh, my dear companion, can you bring me a guitar? I feel like singing. And how about you, my friends? My only desire for you, may you smile all day. Keep your spirits high. Just focus on the new beginnings. Forget all your troubles from the past. Wishing you all a brilliant start today.
You can tell why we miss him. This sweet, sweet, sweet man. Now, we're going to hear from Ken.
I finally figured out it was easier to walk behind everybody. I've loved this life too much. I know I am going to die one day, sightless through these windows unblinking. That time will come, and new words, words unknown to me today, maybe not even words, will come, descriptive in how and what I can't conceive, in what I've become, will become, or not become. Am I moving forward intangible? The comprehension fails me of this state. Fear behind the dark-covered watching engulfs me, the mystery overwhelming. O faith, where is thy surety that this wondrous life will be matched by all I do not yet know? A bereft longing fills me. I've loved this life too much.
And now we have our final poem. That's Elizabeth is going to share with us. Before she does, I just want to thank you all so much for coming. It's just terrific to have you here. And please tell anybody who you think might want to write a poem. We normally meet the first Monday of the month in the Grove Room, which is right over there, and it makes no difference if you've never written a poem in your life. You'll have fun. Thanks. Go, Elizabeth.
Song for Ukraine. Blue skies unfurl, oh golden grain, prayers of love and no more pain. 1,000 years of heart and soul will not find its lifeblood stole. Bewildered are the eyes we see, crossing borders as they flee. Barren in bunkers, singing songs, families pray to keep them strong. Patients' hearts and minds are troubled, hospitals turn to broken rubble. Facing evil, they stare into eyes, praying they find help from their allies. When smoke is cleared, then peace arise, a people's history will reprise. We shall see it once again, blue skies unfurled or golden grain, prayers, love, and no more pain.
Thanks again. Aren't they awesome?